Today, we are going to be watching some ghost stories by a YouTuber named Creepypasta Jr. I've been a fan of his content for over 3 to 4 years by this point, and some of his videos that he does are really scary and kind of like unnerving in a way, and they kind of make you think. And if you are a person like me who doesn't believe in ghosts, then these videos shouldn't scare you, right? But some of his videos, whether they're ghost stories or monster stories, they can make you think and make you get like scared and stuff. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, these videos like will make you think. What if this is real? What if I was experiencing this? These videos are amazing in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of this guy's content. I have not watched all of his videos, and the one we are going to be taking a look at today that caught my eye, that I have not watched at all, so I don't know what is to come. My home security system captured something terrifying. Let's watch it.
Having to move into a new place can be a tumultuous process. You're basically uprooting your entire life and becoming reacquainted with your new surroundings. The
I know that feeling.
finances and planning that goes into such an endeavor can also be quite daunting if you're unprepared, which is basically what happened with my situation. I had recently finished college and was currently staying with my parents. Not an ideal situation, but my mother welcomed me to stay as long as I provided a modicum of rent. I'd been staying home for roughly a year, and towards the latter months I'd begun searching for a new place that didn't have my parents hanging around at every turn. Towards the end of the year, my parents had informed me that they had just sold our house and were prepping to move to the southern part of Florida. This took me by surprise as I would be unable to go with them due to my work constraints. This put me in a bind to find a new place to live as soon as possible. My field of view on potential new homes became increasingly wider as time progressed, until I was scraping the bottom of the barrel in a sense. Nearly all of the apartment complexes in my area wouldn't have any vacancy for weeks or months, and most other places weren't accepting applications. With my concerns mounting and my options becoming more limited by the day, a posting was submitted for a house on the other side of the city. It was a place for rent, and the owner didn't really seem big on official procedures. They probably hadn't rented homes very often before. I contacted them with my information, and they approved me only after a few days of speaking with me and
It's
reviewing
good.
my application.
Good.
I exhaled a large sigh of relief and was able to move in not long after. Thankfully, I didn't own much, only about a bedroom's worth of belongings, so my moving cost remained fairly low. When I pulled up to the location, the renter was standing outside of the house. It was an older woman who had a deep southern drawl. Despite her calling me Sugar every 2 minutes, she was quite nice and respectful.
That's funny.
We walked through the house, which in all honesty wasn't much to write home about. It was a tiny single-story house with a built-in garage that could barely hold a bicycle, let alone an entire car. Though overall I was quite content with it. Truth be told, I was just happy to have a place to live and not have to stress about moving anymore. As we both approached the front door, something caught my eye. On the side of the door was what appeared to be a camera mounted into the wall. I asked the woman what this was exactly, and she passively mentioned that the previous owners of the house were concerned about home security, so they installed the security system throughout the house.
You know, it's always good to have a home security system, in my opinion. It's always good to have one.
She mentioned there being a camera at the back door as well. I was a bit surprised that someone would go to these lengths for home security, given the house itself and the surrounding area, but I guess you can't really put a price on peace of mind, I thought. We wrapped up the tour and I signed all the required documents before moving into my new home. The owner also handed me a slip of paper with all the information regarding the security system that were set up in the house. It instructed me to download an app and log in to set everything up. That evening, after I had moved most of my things into the house, I lounged on my bed with my phone. I pulled up the security app and tapped through it. The interface was fairly clunky and difficult to use. It looked quite outdated compared to the newer, higher-end systems that people purchase. However, it did let me access both cameras, the one at my front door and the one at my back. I spent a few minutes looking around at my driveway and the large tree in my backyard before getting bored and opening an app game. As the hours dragged on, I eventually found myself getting more and more tired before falling asleep with my phone in my hand.
I do that
When I
sometimes.
woke up in the morning, I was confused and
I do that
disoriented.
sometimes.
For the first few seconds, I wasn't sure where I was at, but after taking a moment, I realized where I was and sighed with relief. I grabbed my phone to check the time and was surprised to find a notification on my home screen. It was a notification from my security system that I had previously set up.
Uh-oh.
It told me that someone had rang my doorbell a short time after I fell asleep. I thought this was odd as I had fallen asleep rather late in the evening. I pulled up the app and scrolled back through the footage of that time. It gave me a precise time for the ring, but the camera footage showed no one standing outside of my door.
It's a
I
ghost.
scrolled back and forth on the footage for a few minutes before eventually giving up and beginning my day. Nearly a week after I had moved in, I was lounging in my living room on the cheap futon my parents had gifted me, watching a bit of TV, when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I rifled out my phone to check and see who was texting me, but it was another security alert. This time it said, "Motion detected." I opened the app and activated the camera. As the tiny feed came into view, I couldn't immediately see anything out of the ordinary. Then I noticed something at the corner of the image. Someone was standing in my driveway.
Now that's scary.
They weren't moving, just standing there near my car.
He's
I
gonna break
sighed
in.
and rose from my seat. I walked over to the door and opened it. I called out loudly and sternly, "Hello?" but was quickly silenced as I didn't see anyone standing out there. My entire driveway was clear except for my car. I even stepped out and walked around my vehicle to make sure no one was hiding behind it. I then took a moment to look up and down the sidewalk, but couldn't see anyone around. Scratching my head, I went back inside. There wasn't another incident like that for the following 2 weeks. Then, towards the end of the first month of living there, something even stranger happened. I was in my room typing up some reports I had missed at work, so I didn't have to get an earful from my boss the following day, when my phone suddenly began buzzing along my desk. It was like I was receiving multiple text messages in succession. I quickly grabbed my phone and flipped it over. There were numerous alerts from my security system going off every few seconds.
It's someone's
They were
face
motion detection
pressed
alerts
up
for
against
both
the
my front
camera.
door and my back door. At first, I thought the devices were malfunctioning. That rationale seemed to calm my mind, if only slightly. Still, I opened the app to make sure it was just nothing. When I switched on the front door camera, I felt my pulse quicken. There was another shadowy figure. This time, it was standing on the path leading towards my door. It looked almost like a mummy wrapped all in black. It was slowly moving towards the front door before stopping just shy of it.
Now what is that?
It then stepped into the light.
What
of
is
my
that
porch
picture? It's kind of
and
scary.
brought its face inches away from the camera. It was shrouded, but the face that illuminated was deeply contorted. It grinned into the camera that sent chills through my body.
Yeah, I'm getting chills right
And I
now, no
felt as
joke.
if it was
No
looking
joke, I felt a
directly into
chill go up my
eye.
back.
It then took a few steps backwards into the shadows and just stood there on the edge of the frame. I could feel my skin crawling as my heart thudded in my chest. My phone violently buzzed in my hand and I nearly dropped it as a result. Motion detected. At back door. Shakily, I thumbed the app to swap the camera to the one facing my backyard. The way the camera at my back door is set up, it is mounted on the adjacent wall so I can see the entire back patio and door,
There's
with
50
a
of
portion
them.
of the backyard itself.
There's like a whole group of
At
them out
first, I
there.
didn't see anything. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop and my body seize. My back door was open.
Oh.
I
Okay, I did
usually
not
set
see
the
that
alarm to
coming.
go off right before I go to sleep, but since I was wide awake, I had yet to do that. I quickly stood up and rushed over to my bedroom door, locking it in the process. As I was facing my door, for the briefest of seconds, I could have sworn I heard breathing coming from the other side. A ragged, labored breathing, as if someone was pressing their face against the wood.
Oh
The
no.
sound of a nail being scraped on the wood began to resonate throughout my room.
Oh no.
Then, after a few minutes, the sound subsided. I just sat there against the wall opposite my door, trying desperately to rationalize the situation I was in. I began browsing the internet on my phone while keeping an eye on the door, trying to find some explanation, but there wasn't any. Before I knew it, hours had passed and the sun was already cresting through my window, and I rose from my seat.
You got no sleep?
Slowly, I unlocked the door and pulled it open. The coast was clear. I have absolutely no idea where that thing came from, or what it even wanted with me. All I know is that it's going to take some time for me to find a new place to live. In the meantime, I'm heading to the hardware store to buy a hammer, wood, and a lot of nails.
He's gonna board himself up in the house. Yeah, I would do that. No, no, no. No. No, screw that. Better yet, buy a gun. Buy a gun until you have the chance to move out. It's pretty scary. Not gonna lie. It's actually pretty scary. I had a couple scary moments there. I'm kind of, no joke, I'm kind of looking around my room right now. Even though you guys can't see me. I'm looking around my room to see if there's any creatures there. No joke, I am. But yeah, that's one video of Creepypasta Jr. I want to react to more of these. I might make a series out of this. So guys, so far, welcome to the new series on my YouTube channel, reacting to creepypastas from Creepypasta Jr. So if you guys like this new series, comment down below you want to see more of this, and I will. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all. Stay safe out there. And if there's any creatures outside your house that break in, buy a gun until you have the chance to move out. But I love y'all. See you in the next one. Peace.